Good morning. Good morning. What's up, folks? How's everybody doing this morning? Let me get my stream started over in our Discord real quick. There we go. You guys should be seeing things on the Discord side of the world. Hope y'all are doing well, whether you're following us here on YouTube or um, on our Discord at the in the Xtrades Discord community. Uh, anyway, let's try to play some catch up here. Markets were closed yesterday, so kind of a weird week this week with things being closed for the Juneteenth holiday right in the middle of the week. Um, so we've got some trade plans to review. Obviously, we've got our member selected tickers from over the weekend that you guys voted for: Nvidia, Snow, and AMD. And then last on our last live stream Tuesday morning, we did plans live on this stream for Disney, Chipotle, and Accenture. I think is who that was, right? Yeah, Accenture, right? Yeah, Accenture. Let me just make absolutely sure. So, with that said, I'm going to start jumping into some stuff here. Let's talk about what we're seeing with the markets kind of in general, again, as we like to do through the lens of S&P futures. So things, no shocker. I feel like a broken record at this point, still looking very strongly and convincingly bullish for the markets at the moment. We have, since futures opened, in the yesterday evening and into the early hours this morning, have moved up and tested this next fib extension up here at 55.85, finding some resistance right around that area. A little bit of a print above there, but looks like we're finding more consistent resistance pretty close to that level again. These fib extensions are just kind of projections. Obviously, historical price data and finding support and resistance is always going to be a little bit more accurate, but when it comes to the market constantly making new all-time highs, we have to have some methodology, some kind of strategy for how we're going to determine where to anticipate resistances that have never been tested before. We're going to talk about that with NVIDIA as well. So anyway, not a whole lot to see here. I mean, as long as the market's holding these and putting in these new demand zones, and I'd say holding this uptrend right here, which traces back to, let's see, bottom of it was, could probably clean this up a little bit. It's probably goes from a higher time frame. Let's check this. Yeah, this could be a little bit tighter too, right there. So traces back to, let's see, when was that? End of May 31st. So as we closed out the month of May, is when we really began this trend. We've seen a couple of good tests of it since then. So definitely, I would say a confirmed trend that we'll want to keep our eyes on. So could see some consolidation. Things may be flattening out a little bit as we allow things to sort of catch up, whether it be moving averages or this trend line to kind of catch up. So keep an eye on 55.85, and really I'd say with another fib extension just overhead, potentially at 55.96. I'd say maybe wait for that. That 5600 could also be a good psychological number to keep in mind when it comes to futures and a potential push to the upside. So I would say look for a break of 55.96, 5600 on ES to confirm potentially a next leg up across the market. And definitely with regards to the market leaders, one thing that a lot of people keep raising as a concern is that this rally has not been done with a lot of market breadth. Doesn't necessarily have to. I mean, clearly that is traditionally more healthier, or a more healthy, I should say, more healthier, a more healthy way to see the market kind of develop and move to the upside. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be capitalizing on some of this sort of euphoric bullish movement in the meantime. And that's also kind of a quick aside or a quick note that I'll make. I keep seeing, especially in our Discord, a lot of people they're frustrated. Oh, every Nvidia, I'm just using Nvidia as an example. Every Nvidia dip gets bought. You just can't short this thing. Blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, so you have clearly identified the pattern and have chosen to ignore it or try to force your bias into the equation and are just dead set on trying to short something that is clearly on a massive run right now. If you are sitting there and constantly complaining about every dip being bought on a particular stock, why don't you just buy the dip and join the fun, right? Go ahead and make money now while you wait for a better opportunity for, I guess, your bias to come into play. But I would say the even better approach is totally check and get rid of those biases and just focus on, what the ticker's doing. And if it's doing something that seems obvious, keep playing the obvious. Sometimes, that can work. All right, so anyway, quick soapbox moment there. My apologies. Anyway, so like I said, look for a break of 5,600 for probably the next leg up market wide. If you're really dead set on trying to catch some downside, I think we would definitely confirm a break of this. This is not a confirmed level in any way, but it is the bottom of this next demand zone, the 4-hour demand zone down below. So I'll kind of put this, it's kind of like just a sort of a note placeholder here. Let's see, what can I do to make that stick out so it doesn't look like, I'll do this. Just kind of a placeholder there at 55.41.75. I'd say below that we could see some downside play out, but until then, dips could get bought really at any point in time, I'd say, up until that breaks, and then maybe you open up some room down to, this 55.18 to 55.08 area. But certainly that could be a good dip buy opportunity as well with the 200 SMA pushing up here. So again, we're talking about this from the perspective of ES. You can certainly put these levels on your chart. Make sure you're looking at things like the 200 and 333 SMAs, and then use what I'm sharing here with regards to ES to trade futures if you're a futures trader, or use it to trade SPY or SPX or any related S&P ticker that you choose. That's certainly what I do. Is I certainly factor in where I'm seeing resistance and where the indicators are sitting on ES as I'm making decisions with regards to executing things with the daily SPY plan, for example. So anyway, let's move on. Let's get into some trade recaps. That's kind of the market overview. Good morning to everybody who has joined since we got started. Good morning, Deidre. Good to see you here. If you're in the YouTube side of things, please chime in, say hello. I don't really have a way to see who's in the chat or in the mix unless you say something in the chat in YouTube. So if you guys have joined, just feel free to say hello. I'm friendly. I don't bite. All right, so will the jobless numbers ruin our euphoria? Let's see. Yeah, that's right. I forgot we did have jobless numbers coming out this morning. Let's check that real quick. Good question from Nadesh. I don't see oh, there we go. Initial jobless claims. I don't think so. I mean, it was slightly higher than the consensus, which I think is favorable for reducing inflation and potential rate cuts coming sooner rather than later. The manufacturing index is maybe the thing that's got the market acting a little funky right now. Let's take a look at this on a 15-minute. I mean, we're still above VWAP, still strongly bullish on Neptune. I mean, this could just be a small little pullback based on some of that data. The Philadelphia manufacturing index that came in quite a bit lower than the consensus, which was looking at a 5, came in at a 1.3, but jobless claims pretty much in line with the consensus and lower than the previous. So maybe because it's slightly lower than the previous reading, I guess that's technically maybe a little bit of a factor for interest rate cuts, but I think that's a big focus right now, has been all year. When's the Fed going to cut and how many cuts are we going to see this year? I think 2 cuts is still possible, but as I've said the whole pretty much since the end of last year, and I know I've said it several times at the beginning of this year. I probably stopped saying it because I didn't want to sound like a broken record. I had zero expectations of a market cut anytime prior to June or prior to. Definitely I've always expected to see them second half of this year, and probably end of Q3, Q4 kind of time frame. I think I've said that for a long time. That's starting to look like it will be the case, but I don't think there's going to be a big impact. Again, that Philly Fed manufacturing index was kind of a interesting data point that came out this morning that probably flew under the radar, and I would say is a little bit more off-putting than the jobless claims. Just quick economic data take on things. All right, let's jump into our trade plan recaps here. Let's get back over to the live stream. Let's see what's up to everybody. What's up, Tiana? What's up, Deidre, Susan, Ambition, Strife, Unknown, Satoru? Great to see everybody here. Great to see everybody in Discord. All right, so member selected tickers. Let's start with those. NVIDIA, we talked about this exact setup Tuesday morning. The plan was published Sunday evening. So if you guys didn't catch this move with me on NVIDIA, I don't know how much more I could hold your hand except for pushing the buttons on your broker for you, and I can't do that and won't do that. So we talked about Nvidia looking bullish, nice bounce off the put entry, holding that support there on Monday on that downturn blow a day was very close to that put entry support from the member selected tickers we did over the weekend. So, you know, if we're looking for a break below 129.77, that's key support. If that breaks, we're looking to play downside. It didn't. So we've bounced off that, consolidated for a little bit, and then Tuesday I talked about look for Nvidia to make this kind of move where we push over, get a nice push over the call entry level at 132.85, get a nice back test. Those are fantastic entry opportunities when you see them play out. We saw another one in case you missed that, where we pushed up, consolidated right near PT1 for calls. Again, these are all untested Fibonacci extensions. Nvidia's never been near these levels at any point in its history based on the stock split and all that stuff that it's gone through. Clearly, it went through the $138 range, but technically this is all-time highs with regards to market cap and the return to the shareholders and all that stuff. This is the post-split action that is taking us well above where we were pre-split. And so again, we're seeing this break above, back test, push over, break above, consolidate as support, pushes higher. And then after hours there, Tuesday evening, consolidated right up against PT2 there. So again, another untested level showing nice reactivity that we predicted essentially before it ever happened. And then, you know, with Juneteenth and everything being closed yesterday, we are now seeing a gap up. Looks like we are trying to flip this next fib extension. We are seeing a little bit of a test and a rejection there at the 140.43 fib extension, but it looks like it's trying to bounce, still maintaining full bullish momentum, trying to consolidate and hold over 140.43. If it does that, I could certainly see it making a move for 143.33. If we see that number anytime early into the trading day today, might not be the worst place to go ahead and scale out some profits. You know, again, you should be on free runners and really kind of massively green runners at this point if you followed this plan with that entry. Again, I laid out specifically on the Tuesday morning live stream. You know, if you don't believe me, go to the Xtrades YouTube, rewatch it. I even shared it on my Twitter profile, which, by the way, if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, please go ahead and do that. I did set up a new Twitter account recently. I got, I guess, banned, or my original account got booted, I think because I was, you know, using a bot in our Discord to kind of auto post to my profile. I guess Twitter doesn't like that. I didn't realize that was a big no-no for them. Anyway, I got my profile, you know, destroyed, and I kind of got sour on the whole X Twitter thing for a while there, but decided to bring it back, and I'm sharing things there every once in a while that I may not even be sharing in our Discord. But anyway, posted the link there, so please come check it out. Hope you give me a follow, all that stuff, and tell your friends, right? I mean, these FOMO live streams are totally free to join. So please, you know, spread the word. The more people we have join these, the more people we have talking about these live streams, the better, in my opinion. So anyway, back to our trade planning and Nvidia. Again, gap up over, trying to flip this next fib extension at 140.43 from resistance to support. Again, I'm going to be scaling out some runners up here at 143.33, or I would say if we break back below 138.09, I'll go ahead and close out the rest of my positions there. Again, this is going to be a tremendously profitable trade. I haven't really done any kind of guesstimated calculus on, you know, where my runners are going to be at on this one, but they're going to be doing very well, as are my Nvidia shares that I started accumulating before the split. Hope you guys followed me on that idea as well. All right, next up, Snow. This one we talked about as a recap on Tuesday, and has just kind of fallen back in the range and hasn't done much since, but we did get a nice consolidation on that key support there at the put entry from the member selected tickers plan at 125.84. Also Neptune fully bullish on it right there. Held that the whole way through and then pushed right up. I'm not fully bullish, but the key buying pressure here, sorry, that is not a fully bullish setup. I don't want to misspeak. But right in the key buying pressure, 125.84 key support, so all right there together. Nice bounce to the upside, took us to PT1 plus. Apparently I was maybe one level too conservative. I did have a level here at 131.74, which seems to be where the actual rejection came in, but you know, sometimes it's also smart to just take profit a little early. So since then we've seen it break back down below back test. I did say go ahead and close out any runners that you might have on a break back below 130.47. So I hope you listen to me on that, because since then it has pulled all the way back and is back in the no trade range with a lot of resistance overhead. So I'd say as long as snow is below 129.57, could potentially be a good short opportunity. Even better confirmation, I would say, on a break below this 126.70, so could see a slightly earlier entry than that member selected tickers plan that we did over the weekend. But if you want to circle back to that, the chart is posted in the options watch list in our Xtrades Discord. AMD, also member selected tickers. This one we talked about staying bearish on Tuesday morning. So again, we called NVIDIA. Hopefully you listen to the AMD analysis as well. This one did open below the put entry level. 200 SMA coming on with some confluence there on the 5-minute. Let's take a look at this on the 15-minute as well. I would just like to get some different perspectives from time to time. So not fully, but bearish trend ribbon coming down there, adding pressure as we go into the open. Pushed down, caught PT1, went even one level lower, kicked back up into that bearish selling ribbon pressure, and pushed down to PT2, and it's tried to hold that as support and is trying to push back up, but again, catching the key selling pressure here on Neptune. Also bearish SMAs overhead here still in the 15 minutes. So AMD having a real rough go of things. Also had some pretty negative news, or potential news. I don't think it's confirmed yet, with regards to I think a massive data breach and potentially some future designs and information on their products that may have been stolen. I don't know if you guys caught wind of that, but they were potentially caught up in a hack. I forget the name of the hacker group. I've heard of them before, but I'm not going to recall it off the top of my head, and it's not all that important. So anyway, AMD played out to the downside just like we kind of were anticipating. So, and snow, I don't think, well, the only thing I think we said about snow Tuesday is closure runners below 130.47. That looked to be the right move. The NVIDIA break above, back test and bounce, right move. AMD downside, right move. So I think as far as member selected ticker updates that we did on Tuesday's live stream, pretty much crushed those. All right, let's get to the trade plans we did on Tuesday morning's live stream. Disney was in the mix. I think this was Chris's request. Chris is always catching the good ones. Really nice consolidation, and what I really like about this setup is, again, bullish setup for the most part here on Neptune key, buying pressure. SMA is a little wonky where they are at, but that weekly support level there at 164. Again, we talked about these put entries being key supports below which more downside happens. Key supports can also be good bounce opportunities if you're more of a reversal than a breakout or breakdown trader. So really nice bounce opportunity there. Neptune giving some additional confirmation in the key buy zone there. So drop down, tested that weekly level as bounce. We're still consolidating and also rejecting, finding resistance at that stop loss average down level. So keep Disney on watch. Certainly a break below 164 to me looks definitely even better to confirm more downside if that does happen. Could see it try to push higher if we even just break 101.51. I'd say you've got better confirmation though over 102.07 and just follow the plan from there. So kind of wait and see still on Disney. Chipotle, again, working with a lot of fib extensions here where we're dealing with untested resistance levels potentially in price discovery. So again, a little bit more challenging to kind of plan these out than if we've got historical price data to use. But that being said, Chipotle ultimately consolidated, did see what looked like a pretty decent confirmed break above, close above, candle open, and shot right back down below. Me personally, I'd probably wait a little bit because I think what's going to happen is once Chipotle goes through this stock split, the volume on it's going to totally shift because it is a massive stock split. Right now, as you can see, it's a very low volume ticker, so it can do weird things like, essentially this looks to me like it basically gapped up during the trading day, right? You had a candle close here and then open right here. So this is what can make tickers like Chipotle and low volume tickers a little harder to plan and a little less predictable, and therefore, tickers I tend to kind of shy away from as far as the ones I like to trade the most. But anyway, just kind of some food for thought, no pun intended, since we're talking about a food company. And well, I thought maybe I need to zoom out a little bit. Stock split's coming up, right? Like, yeah, sorry, I went passed it. What's the date for that split? June 26th, it looks like. So keep an eye on this one after June 26th. It'll be very interesting. I could see there being a little bit of a pullback on Chipotle after the split, but use that as an opportunity, I would say, to buy the dip overall. I think Chipotle's going to do well post-split, and you're going to see a lot of retail moving into it once it becomes affordable to buy more than just one share for most traders. All right, so last but not least, ACN. This one was from Unknown Reviews. He likes to catch those earnings report type setups. This one essentially consolidated between the put entry, stop loss average down level for the most part. Neptune was bullish on it, so really the only, I would say, predictor or indicator of the bullish move to the upside would have been the fact that Neptune was bullish on it, but that's pretty thin. And me personally, I don't like to, at least pretty thin to get into an earnings report trade, and again, personally, I just like to stay away from those entirely. But seems to be trying to move through some of these levels here to the upside. A little bit choppy, a little bit messy. Not a low volume ticker, but again, we are dealing with a pretty significant catalyst with that earnings report. So price movement is going to be a little less predictable because of that. All right, so hit me with your ticker requests, folks. What are you guys looking for us to work on this morning to develop some new trade plans? Ryan Brown thinks there's going to be a massive pullback on SPY at 450, 451. Let's take a look at, yeah, ES is catching support pretty much where we thought it would, right? VWAP, bullish key buying pressure there on Neptune. So as long as this is holding, we could see things recover. But well, wait a second. 450, 451 on SPY. I think maybe you mean 550. I mean, we're in that range right now, testing it. So, but yeah, 450, 451. Maybe Ryan just had a typo there. Anyway, I was like, wait a second, am I in a different universe or something like that? All right. So let's go through some new trade plans here. Deidre chimed in bright and early this morning with coin, so let's take a look at that. Nadesh wants to know if ABG owes a buy before the split. I'll try to take a look at that. Let's see. SMCI just broke. NVIDIA. We talked about NVIDIA. Certainly I would be very careful with jumping in right now. Ryan says pull back at 550, 551. Certainly could happen. Those seem like reasonable psychological resistances for sure. And another switch from NVIDIA to Kava RTX. Okay, all right, let's jump into some of these trade plans. Let's start with coin for Deidre, who I know comes here often and was here early with the requests. So thanks for that, Deidre. I appreciate it. Keeps things moving along. All right, so coin, I do have levels on. Looks like there's an old trade plan somewhere in this vicinity. So let's clean this up real quick, though. Get a little bit of perspective. It's been a while since I've kept an eye on coin. In the world of crypto-related tickers, I'm a little bit more on the crypto miners than the exchange side of things. There we go. Okay. All right, let's zoom out a little bit here on coin. Does look like it's trying to break out of a little bit of a downtrend. Bitcoin's up a decent bit so far in its trading day. Looks like it maybe had a downtrend somewhere in this range, right in here, that we've now broken over. It looks like we're essentially back testing and holding that and trying to ramp out of it. So definitely could see a momentum shift here on coin. Just digging slightly smaller time frame here. I wonder if this is starting to develop any kind of a Does look like it's maybe trying to develop a little bit of an uptrend here. Let's see, I'm iffy on it. I mean, technically that candle doesn't close below. I don't know. I wouldn't put a ton of stock into that uptrend line. It's messy at best. I mean, looks like we're getting a little bit of testing confirmation on that potentially cleaning up and showing something, but I would not put a ton of stock or weight into that uptrend at the moment. But I'm seeing an interesting confluence here on the 15 at 245.82. Is catching some bullishness from these moving averages to the upside with the 200 over the 333. Little dip below the 333, but back above it now. And also a gap to fill to the upside here to 244.35. All right, so I think we could look for an entry on coin over this 242.23 level that we've clearly found some resistance at. I might even just make a slight adjustment to this level just to make sure it's a little bit cleaner right about there. 242.41 we'll call it. Over that, now the one thing I'd be concerned about though is a gap fill rejection there at 244.41, which could certainly happen. I don't think that there is a logical, at least not that I'm seeing so far. Wait, I just want to look at price action for a second here. It could be right around where the price is sitting this morning, actually, maybe just above it. Trying to feel out if there's a level here, support and resistance level. I still really like using, I mean, this is kind of where I was had my sort of mindset at going into this, or as it started to look at it. Kind of like that 239.55 as a stop loss. Question is, one, do I have this 245.82 level? Is that a little bit high? Again, these can kind of support and resistance. Whoops, don't want to do that. Can get shifted around a little bit. That's still, yeah, that looks pretty good to me right there. So 245.72. All right, I'm gonna say take a shot at it. Just be mindful. It sets up a totally wrong risk reward scenario. So to some extent, this is not a great trade setup. So again, keep that in mind. I would say keep your position sizing small for sure. Starting out on this trade, because again, there's some issues here that I could see coming into play. Potentially, but I think that there's also opportunity here. It's a high risk setup, for lack of a better way of saying it. All right, so what we're looking for, again, break over 242.71. I like targets there at 245.72, 248.40, and over that. I don't ever like to ignore a weekly level. We didn't really see it. Saw a little bit of testing, very kind of messy. Although coin is, the more I look at it, is one I kind of maybe want to go back and refine some of these levels. They're just not catching as cleanly as I'd like them to. And it could be that it's just been a while since I've kind of reviewed my support and resistance on coin, but I'd say shoot for this 251.58 weekly level. Again, I hate to ever just pretend like we're going to fly through a weekly level. Those are kind of major support and resistances in my world. So I'd say we'll shoot for that for PT3. Also, why we have a weekly level as our stop loss average down. So to the downside, where does that come into play? I have seen some tests near and just below this 235, but again, the more I look at this, kind of the messier these levels look, which I don't like messy levels. I like clean, crisp, sharp, precise, accurate, all those adjectives when it comes to how I see my levels kind of performing, even if we're catching fib extension, support and resistances, or really resistances. Well, you can't do fib extensions to the downside, and I have, but I feel like mostly we find ourselves doing them for upside because market is designed to go up. All right. Yeah, okay. We're going to take a shot at this from this angle here on coin to play downside if it even happens. May not ever become a factor because it does look like it wants to move higher to me right now. And I'd say it's probably not wrong to be bullish on crypto at the moment either. That is definitely something more for our crypto traders sister server if you really want to get true insights there, or if you ever see our fearless leader Kevin post anything about anything crypto related, pay close attention. That guy knows his crypto. This level, it's kind of messy price action, I think, on coin is one of the things I'm just not loving about it. But anyway, neither here nor there. We're going to use that 236.87 as our stop loss. First price target. This one could be a decent move down. Also, while that gap is filled, there is a level in here though, pretty close to closing this fair value gap. I'd rather shoot slightly conservative on this first price target. So we'll take that at 230. The weight, kind of a tight PT 1 and 2, but two spots at which I would be taking profit. And then, yeah, on down to this 225.31 level. So here are your coin trade plans. Let's check Neptune, make sure I don't see anything that disagrees with any of this. If anything, I know we've got some confluences, especially at this PT1. So if you do play this to the upside, keep it small. And I would also say, you know, definitely do not hesitate to scale out at PT1. Don't get greedy and then move your stops up. And then let yourself get stopped out of the trade versus, you know, trying to time taking profits. Just keep moving up your stops. When you get stopped out, you get stopped out. It's a great way to let your free runners run. Okay, so let's get some more real estate on here. Share this in the chats. All right, so this is our coin live stream plan. I'll post this over in the options watch list of our Discord. All right, so what are we looking for here on coin? We're looking for a break over 242.41 with targets at 245.72, 248.40, and 251.58 with a stop loss average down at 239.55. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 234.31 with targets at 230.08, 227.99, and 225.31 with a stop loss average down at 236.87. That is, or those are, I should say, your coin trade plans. All right, let's catch up to the chats here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Love this. Yeah, happy to do it. Tiana, appreciate it. So we had RTX in the mix. So we did have a couple of questions. Let me go back over to the chat in the live stream. What was the plan for CMG? The plan for CMG was looking for a confirmed break over 34.45.17. Targets at 34.81.76, 35.30, 55, and 35.96.11. It is in, since you are claimed in the Xtrades Discord, it's over in the options watch list. I posted it there. There's also in the options chat pinned kind of a legend on what these levels mean, so you can just look at the chart and it'll tell you exactly what the plan's saying. So check that out. And then there was, wow, AZA really wants to know about ARM. I'll take a quick look at that and then we'll do the next ticker. ARM bullish or bearish? Certainly looks bullish at the moment. Very bullish. on the daily. Still bullish on the hourly. Yeah, and mostly bull. I mean, yeah, I don't see anything. I mean, certainly could see a pullback, a little bit of a retracement, maybe back to these moving averages. But overall, strongly bullish as long as it's over, I'd say, 159.33. So hopefully that helps you there. AZA. All right, so let's go back to some of these existing requests that we have. I probably have time to get through at least one more. Hideout with RTX. Let's take a look at RTX. Why do I know that? Apparently I've done a trade plan for it at some point, or some levels on it at some point a while ago. It's since broken out. I don't really. What is RTX? Not one I've traded much. It's been a while. Aerospace and defense. Got it. It's probably not the worst worst arena to be looking at right now. Geopolitical tensions always a topic at the moment. All right. Let's check it out. We are going to have to add some levels here. Let's see if we've got anything useful here on the weekly chart. I'll be surprised if we do with limited price action up here. Previous weekly all-time high. No real follow-ups or tests really for any of that. So yeah, not surprised to not really see much on the weekly chart there. Let's see if this gives us any further insights. Could be a level trying to develop, or very close to developed right here on the daily. I don't think we have anything else. Maybe. Let's see if that maybe shows us something on the daily that we couldn't see on the weekly. I think it does, actually. Worth noting that level as well. All right, now we're just down to this more recent price action. Definitely have something here and wouldn't totally ignore this multi-top all-time high. Resistance there. All right, so let's dig into this hourly chart. Take a look at this one. We'll fill in the blanks as needed. All right, so looks like it's trying to build a little bit of a, yeah, it's not a great look. If it is, maybe a little bit of a bullish pennant, but under this resistance, but it's ugly, messy. And again, I don't like ugly, messy. I like things to be very clear, clean. We do have a level right here, hourly. Could wind up being of interest. All right. Also could have a bit of a downtrend starting to form that we're ways removed from at the moment. Right there. So we'll keep that in mind. And again, could be trying. Not much to write home about yet. And also kind of losing it already here pre-market. An uptrend there, but not reliable pre-market price action there. So market could actually open above that trend line. So we'll keep that in mind as well. All right, let's take one more look at, or look at one more time frame, I should say. Just trying to think about where, if. All right, I think there's a window of opportunity to get started. Not going to be a, not going to set your account, not going to send it to the moon or anything, but I think there's a window of opportunity in here to get started with decent risk reward. It's a tight window, but honestly, it is what it is a little bit. Yeah, I wouldn't give it that much room. So I would play this one tight, keep it small. If you get stopped out, so be it. Just be careful, be cautious. And again, market is kind of also testing some challenging levels right now too, or kind of looks like it's a little bit overextended, I should say, not really testing too much in the way of levels. All right, so secondly, sorry, just clear this up real quick. Yeah, it really could go up to 107.54, but say let's shoot one level more conservative. You've heard me say that plenty of times. Let's shoot for 107.12. Second price target, third target. Yeah, I'd put right here at 107.95. So again, kind of a tight upside trade plan. If it plays out though, it's got a really, I think, overall good risk reward. I would keep it small. Does look pretty iffy, especially when we look at where the indicators are sitting. Looks pretty bearish at the moment. All right, let's see. Interested and intrigued by this 103.98 support. I don't think we're going to get much else in the way of historical price action there. One thing we could do, this is an interesting, we could do two things actually. So that's a pretty good bounce. Let's see, I want to do this, yeah. Let's go ahead and just take it all the way back to all-time high. Let's see where that sets us up. Yeah, that's kind of the level I was looking, or close to this level I was looking at for potential stop loss on this downside trade plan. So let's roll with that. It was already, yeah, again, already eyeballing it. Fib retracement kind of adds some conviction to that level. Although I do think if we break below this weekly level again, moving forward, it's at the very least going to bring a test of this 103.07 level. And below that, I think we could see 101.99 for sure. And then, yeah, we'll just do 1, 2, 3 onto the downside here at 101 flat. So let's cover these real quick. Let's move that, fix that so that looks right. There we go. Let's move that out a little bit. All right, and downside. I don't know why I like these things to look even, but I do. Again, goes back to me my want for cleanliness and OCD in my charts, which generally serves me well, I think, but let's hide these for now. All right, so these are the RTX live stream plans. And one over in the options watch list for Discord. All right, so what are we looking for here on RTX? We are looking for a break over 105.54. That should give us targets at 106.17, 107.12, and 107.95 with a stop loss average down at 105.09. To the downside, let me fix this. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 103.98. That should give us targets at 103.07, 101.91, and 101.99. And then final third target there at 101 flat. Stop loss average down at 104.61. Okay, that puts us at about 15 minutes out from the market open. I do need to go get the daily SPY plan put together and published in our Xtrades Discord community. So I think with that, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. Apologies if I didn't get to one of your tickers. Key to Ambition, we did cover NVIDIA though. That was shared in the Xtrades options watch list on Sunday. We talked about it Tuesday, so you can go back and look at the plan and the discussion if you watch the recording of Tuesday's live stream. I will also just go ahead and reshare the chart here for you in case you want to pull it up and use it. Definitely looking at if we do test and break 143.33, probably adding some new fib extensions because definitely I think we'll find some resistances above that between there and 151.88. We'll just have to try to predict those using, again, those fib extensions. But anyway, I hope that helps, even though I wasn't able to give you a full trade plan or get to the Kava request. Let's just take a quick look. I know we did plan on it recently. Maybe we're fortunate enough to be kind of in that same range. And we sure enough are, actually. So you could probably, I would say, recycle this existing Kava trade plan. So if you go to my Twitter profile, I do have a pinned breakdown of what the solid lines, dotted lines, and dashed lines mean. So here is potentially a Kava trade plan that you could retread as well. So I'll go ahead and share that with you here in the chat also, even though I wasn't able to get to a deeper discussion during the live stream. Apologies for that, and sorry we couldn't get to Microsoft. I will take a quick peek. Again, not going to be a full trade plan. Man, Microsoft I need to update. Looks like it's played out these fib extensions really nicely though. Very nicely, actually. So again, when I drew these, I'm assuming, yeah, Microsoft, in fact, these look like the first times they've tested. At least so far, or what I'm seeing at a quick glance. So yeah, fib extensions playing out well, but clearly some more need to be added here. It looks like it's maybe showing some slight signs of bearishness, but with those moving averages just below, it could easily pick those up and keep running. I mean, overall, I'd say stay bullish and buy the dip all the way down to 443.20. Below that, it could pull back further. That's just a quick 2 cents on Microsoft. All right, anybody who I didn't get to, my apologies if I didn't get to your request or whatever the case might be. But I hope you will come back. We will be back next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and streaming to our Discord. So with that, I want to thank you guys for joining me. We'll see you next week, next Tuesday morning, like I just said. In the meantime, if you haven't already, come check us out in the Xtrades Discord community. There are links in these live stream descriptions that will take you to our community. Feel free to come check us out. Free trials are available, and if you like what you see, stick around for the long term. I joined, gosh, probably 5-6 years ago, and knew immediately that it was a place I was going to want to be for the rest of my trading career. So come check us out. It's a great community, great place to hone your skills, learn, develop, and get into this on the right foot versus starting off in a hole that you have to dig out of, and then you find Xtrades and it helps you get out of that hole. But there are other people, see people start off not behind the 8 ball if possible. So join us early, education first and foremost, all that good stuff. So as we always say here on the FOMO live streams, plan your trades, trade your plans, go out there and get some green. I will see you guys in the chats in our Discord, and I will see you back here next Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a fantastic day. Talk to you soon.